One action.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Dave P. RJ Pepino here live with the cream on the Wednesday live stream. Super happy to be here. Exciting day. Lot of stuff going on. We just finished an election that happened yesterday, so obviously a lot of chatter about that. To be completely upfront, I'm glad it's all over. It's always the feeling of relief. But we're going to be talking about what a Trump presidency means for real estate, but actually we got a little presentation here for you. We're going to be talking about just money in general, because the economy and money, real estate's just one egg in the basket. It's just one, actually a pretty small part of the basket as well. When it comes to, we're talking about national debt, we're talking about a global economy here, and so lots of cool stuff to share regarding that. But hopefully you're having a great day, and we're grateful that you are here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. This channel's been steadily growing. Super grateful for each and every single one of you. Even these live streams, I see the views kind of ticking up a little bit. This is the best part of our week, best part of our day is when we get to share what we are learning in our own business, in our real estate business, share with you all, and most importantly, just get testimonials and positive feedback. So we appreciate all the comments and the positive feedback. A lot of you guys are doing deals. A lot of people in our coaching community are doing deals. And it kind of brings us back. RJ and I have been plugging away at the real estate thing for over a decade, and we own a lot of rental properties. We still do a lot of flips, but there's that energy of working with new people that kind of gets us out of bed and gets that pep in the step and really keeps us engaged in our own real estate dealings and whatnot. So RJ, how we doing today?
Hey, doing great. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but up and at it bright and early this morning. Had a little bit pep in my step, and I hope everybody that stayed up last night got what they wanted. And if for those that didn't, it's okay. We're still here. We're still focusing on what matters most, and we can still make the best out of it, regardless of the outcome. So
yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's important to note, regardless of who wins or loses the election, we were going to be here on Wednesday live stream, and and to be completely upfront, every single election, you know what they say, it's always the same. This is the most important election in history. This might be the last election. You better vote for me. It's politics, guys. It's all politics, and the world goes on. Regardless of who won the election, we would be here doing these live streams, and
still doing real estate.
Still doing real estate. Yeah, it's important. I think in my younger years, I was far more dramatic with this stuff. This particular election cycle, I think I've personally displayed more maturity than I've ever displayed in my life. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm not even arguing with anyone. It is what it is. And I think when you see the presentation we put here forth for you today, you're going to kind of see as well, there's far bigger forces at work than even the presidency. There's far bigger forces at work than who gets elected. The most thing that I'm grateful for and hopeful for, RJ, is at the end of the day, I don't want to see any violence. I don't want to see Americans turning on each other. I don't want to see any social unrest. I don't want to see any vandalism and stuff like that. I just don't, regardless of who wins or loses. I hate to see a small business get affected negatively by getting broken into or looted. None of that stuff makes me feel good. So if we can avoid that, I really don't care who wins, as long as we can actually stick together on that level.
Right. Same here, man. Same here. We got to focus on what we can control. I was just talking to our team this morning. It's like, whatever they're going to pass, it's going to take time. It just doesn't happen like tomorrow. You still got to, still has to go through the normal channels, talking about months. So
years and sometimes never at all.
Never. I mean, sometimes never. Yeah. It's like,
and here's the thing. If you remember when it was Trump versus Biden, I remember us in the real estate space, we were all, because part of Biden's original proposal was he was going to get rid of the 1031 exchange. We were all making these fear mongering videos. We thought they was going away. We all did. I bought into that. At this phase of my life, I just take everything with a grain of salt. It never went away. I mean, there's always this fear and stuff with regardless of what candidate gets elected. It's like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. A lot of it never actually happens. So I just remember during that election cycle being so worried about the 1031 exchange going away. And you know what we also have been hearing for years? Oh, our IRAs, the government's going to come in and take our IRAs and start taxing our IRAs and change them. I've been hearing that for years. None of that has actually happened. But I got a pretty cool presentation put together. I put some slides together, and really what you're going to be seeing here today was a complete download. Okay, it was a complete aha, and I guarantee there are much smarter people out there than me who would watch what I'm going to present to you today. And this is RJ's first time seeing it. He stepped into my office today and I said, this is what I'm working on. But you know what? I'm not going to show you. I'd rather show you live and get a live reaction from you. And that will speak to how well I do at explaining it. So if RJ understands it, hopefully you guys will understand it as well. But it was just a complete download. And like I was saying, I guarantee there's much smarter people out there than me that would completely debunk this and prove to me that this is not possible. But I'm going to share some things with you here today, and it has to do with really the biggest force in the universe, the Federal Reserve. This is what, we can talk politics, left versus right all day. There's one underlying monster that is more powerful than either political party, and that's the banks. I mean, if you don't think the banks run the show, you're mistaken, because they absolutely do. So let me share my screen here, RJ. We can kind of get going on some things here.
If you guys are just watching this for the first time, thank you. Welcome. This is cash flow, real estate, and money. This is what we're all about here. So today we're going to be talking a lot more about the money side of it. And let me help Dave here. But also probably has some real estate undertones to it as well.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to be getting into real estate. We're going to getting into, I have some kind of data for you, RJ, regarding what this potentially can mean for real estate. But it really, guess what? Spoiler alert, it goes back to the Fed. Like what I'm going to be talking about is potential new financing programs. Well, what are we talking about financing? That's loans. What are loans? It's banks. Everybody, I'm here to let you know. We're going to be talking about what a Trump presidency potentially means for money. I want you all to know, my whole life changed when I stumbled across a book back in the day. And RJ knows I became obsessed with this book. This book, I guess I suggest it, but I'll never. I mean, you get into the rabbit hole of the Federal Reserve, and that's a dark place. I'm here to let you know. And this book completely changed my outlook on everything. Changed my outlook on politics. Changed my outlook on money. And that book is The Creature from Jekyll Island by a guy named Edward Griffin. And he basically exposes how the Federal Reserve is a private corporation. It was created by the richest men in the world in the early 1900s on a place called Jekyll Island, which exists off the state of Georgia. And I mean, we're talking about the Rockefellers and Carnegie and all the richest men in the world. They came together to form these central banks. And it happened in Germany. They formed central banks, in the UK. And anyway, the Federal Reserve was created by very rich people. And then also I have been down the rabbit hole of a guy named Jim Rickards, another very dark place. But, you learn a lot. And this guy's just talking about the collapse of the US dollar. He talks a lot about gold. We're going to be talking a little bit about gold today. This is like a fear type of guy. I mean, the Jekyll Island stuff and the Jim Rickards stuff, I'm here to let you all know, it is a dark place. But there's truth in everything. So you might want to check it out. You might not. I don't know. You might just want to get your information from us here and go about your business and focus on more positive stuff. But I have been down these rabbit holes, and there's going to be some influence from these particular sources in today's presentation. So what is Trump running on? Now, Trump is running on tariffs. We'll talk a little bit about that. He's talking about the Department of Government Efficiency, bringing in Elon Musk to make us a little bit more efficient, which we absolutely need that. Trump's running on lower rates. The tariffs thing, RJ, are you aware of kind of the tariff conversation going around right now?
I am, but not in depth. Sorry, I just see it. I see it, but I don't read into it. So what is it?
I'll keep it super simple. So what he's talking about is this. Any company that manufactures their goods outside of the US, if they want to sell those goods to US citizens, Trump's going to tack on what he says is 100% tax, tariff. Meaning, if you are Ford Motor Company
Okay.
and you want to move your manufacturing plant from the USA Detroit over
Gotcha.
to Mexico because you want to take advantage of cheaper labor. Well, when you bring these cars back from Mexico to sell to U.S. citizens, they're taxing you 100% tax, which would make
Gotcha.
it not profitable. So it incentivizes companies to leave their business in the United States. Because if Ford Motor Company, and that's just one example, we can be talking about cheese, we could be talking about wine, we could be talking about all goods, right? It is not profitable if you are importing it and selling to US customers, you got to pay a tariff, right? You got to pay a fee. So it incentivizes American companies to leave the jobs and leave the manufacturing and production in the United States.
Got
On
it.
paper, sounds great. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, let's
Doge,
see if that gets passed, right? It still has to go through
yeah, there's
the
a lot,
tariffs.
right? Big
Yeah.
ships turn slowly, right? You got this giant machine known as the US government. It's not going to happen overnight, but that's what he's running on. It sounds good in theory, right? Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. Elon Musk is thinking he can take $2 trillion off of our government spending by getting rid of government useless agencies and things like that. Again, let's see. It's a big promise. 2 trillion off the balance sheet. A year is what he's saying annually. 2 trillion in less spending. Let's give him a shot. And Trump's talking about lowering interest rates. And again, that's like a buzzword. Everybody wants lower rates, right? Well, let's see what he does, right? So let's talk about this here real quick. So now I listened to President Trump on the Joe Rogan podcast, and this is what led to the breakthrough in the download that I'm going to share with you here, RJ. But Trump was talking about, he was like talking about the national debt. And then he was like, if we can increase our growth, it dwarfs the national debt. And then like it didn't click at first, but I started thinking about real estate, and then it made sense to me. And I'm like, wait a second. So check this out. Let's pretend, RJ, you got a house worth $100,000 and you borrowed like crazy and you levered this thing up to $300,000. So you borrowed 300 grand against your $100,000 asset. You're in the hole majorly, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of how the US is right now. Our GDP or our production, let's just pretend, is 100,000, but our national debt is like 300,000. We're majorly in the hole, right? But what if we found a way to increase our ARV in this example? So now we figure out a way to make our house worth 500,000. The debt is still 300,000. Now we're positive 200,000. You see what we just did there?
Yes, yes.
Well, that changes everything, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Now we're positive.
Now we're net positive, right? Well, how the hell do we, what is this, what could this relate to? What assets do we have in the US, right, that we can increase the value of massively to dwarf our debt and make us actually sovereign again, make us actually positive again? Well, how do we do this? How do we more than double our value? Right? And now we're talking about the Federal Reserve real quick, US dollar, global reserve currency. Right now, you know, the US dollar is the global reserve currency. People trade with the US dollar all around the world. That's what makes us so powerful, right? And this all leads back to the Federal Reserve. Now, check this out. What asset does the Federal Reserve have on its balance sheet? What does the Federal Reserve own? What is our dollars backed by? Do you know, RJ?
Well, it was backed by gold.
It was supposed to
Not
be,
anymore.
and then they overprinted, right? Really,
Right.
our dollars are backed now by the U.S. military and by weapons. I mean, we're the strongest bully on the block, you know. So that's why people keep using our dollars and having value of our dollar. But originally, it was supposed to be gold, and the Fed still is buying gold. The Fed still owns, as of right now, 8,133 tons of gold on the Fed's balance sheet.
Wow. It's a
That's how
lot,
much
man.
they own a crap load. The Fed, USA, owns more gold. We have the largest gold reserves in the whole world. We have all this gold. Germany's number 2, Italy. Central banks hold most of the world's gold because of its safety, liquidity. Okay. So check this out. USA owns more gold than anyone else. Right now, we own over 8,000 tons of gold. Well, 1 ton of gold is equivalent to 35,273 ounces. As of right now, 1 ounce of gold trades for, and this is a record high, all-time high, $2,676 per ounce. That's today. This is today's number. So 1 ton of gold is worth $94,393,116. The Fed owns 8,000 tons, each ton being worth $94 million. Total assets just for the gold is $767,742,641,69,000. That's the total asset worth of gold that we have on our balance sheet as of today. Current national debt is 35 trillion, almost $36 trillion. So here you go, RJ. We're looking at our ARV in this house example that I gave you. ARV is 100 grand, debt is 300 grand. Well, in this case, ARV or value is the 767 billion, but the current debt is 35 trillion. We have way more debt than we have the value of the gold. Right?
Yeah.
Well, we own, the debt is 47 times more than the value of gold. So debt is 47 times higher than our current value of gold. So what would that mean? What if we just 47x'd the price of gold? Now we'll break even. So that would make gold now $125,000 an ounce. What if we 47x'd the price of gold? Now on our balance sheet, we're not in the hole anymore. Now we're actually, break even because we increased the price of the asset on our balance sheet, right? And then, and if we at least stop the bleeding with this Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, if we just stop bleeding out debt and creating more debt, and then increased the price of gold to match the debt, right? Now we're actually at a break even. We did it through growth, not through debt pay down. And Trump he referenced this, and I can tell he gets it from a real estate perspective too, right? Like if you have a fixed rate 30-year mortgage, you owe 100 grand on the house. Well, let's just go back to our example. Let's say you own 300. You owe 300 on a house worth 100. Well, what if that house goes up to 500 grand in debt? Now or in value, you're no longer in the hole.
Yeah.
Growth can dwarf your debt if you have massive growth. But you're probably sitting there thinking, it's like, well, Dave, I mean, come on, we can't 47x the price of gold.
That was my question. How do we increase that?
Well, listen to this. Well, 47x is just going to get us to be a break even.
Yeah.
What if we 100x? What if we 200x? And you're probably sitting there thinking, you're out of your mind. I mean, this is impossible. You can't just 100 times the price. Or RJ, this is not, they've done it already. They did this between 1978 and 1980. They 300x'd it. They've done this before. They know this chapter. They've done this before. They 300x'd the price of gold between 1978 and 1980. What if they do it again? What if they did it again? So it's just all theory. I mean, these are literally just downloads. This is coming from just a lot of little nuggets of information. I've been studying this stuff, and it's just but it wouldn't be the first time they did it. It wouldn't be the first time gold surged more than 300,000. But then you're probably thinking, it's like, wait a second. I mean, if the price of gold surges that much, well, we're not the only country that owns gold. China owns a bunch of gold. India owns a bunch of gold. All the other countries. And that's true. I mean, if the price of gold was to surge, a rising tide raises all ships. Other countries are going to be richer as well. There's no question. But we own the most. We own the most. So yeah, everybody's going to get rich with this play, but we're still the most powerful. And if we can do something about our debt and actually control our debt and spending, which apparently that's what they're going to work on with this Doge program and whatnot, we're kind of in the black now. We're kind of looking a little better. And
really surprised by looking at this sheet here that Germany has more than Italy, France, and Russia. And they don't. I don't know what the stat is for England.
No, I gotta look this up here real quick. You're right. I'm Googling right now. How much gold does China own? Yeah, here you go. And China's not always honest about their gold reserves, by the way. But it says, I mean, this is just straight up Google right now. It says their official gold reserves are 2,200 ounces. We're still kicking ass. Look, we own a bunch, man. We got over 8,000. Why don't we explode the price of gold, dwarf the debt? Yes, it's going to make everybody else rich, but who cares? We own the most. Let's go, right? Something to think about. Now, you might also be thinking, well, we can't have the president's not going to interfere with gold. I mean, you can't do that. Well, let me share something with you. In 1933, President Roosevelt did a massive gold confiscation. You probably didn't know this, but President Roosevelt had everybody, American citizens, bringing their gold to the banks and turning their gold in to the bank and saying it's the patriotic thing to do. If you love your country, give us all your gold and we'll give you these dollars, right? And they were giving like $22 an ounce. And then after they confiscated all the gold, they jacked the price of gold up to like 100 an ounce. They've done this play. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's weird. Nobody could imagine for $125,000 an ounce. Not going to happen overnight, but this is a valid play and it would not be that far-fetched, right? So let's talk real estate. First off, RJ, what questions do you have? What light bulbs are going off from this initial conversation here?
Well, we talk a lot about real estate, which we're getting right into this now, but that was just a sneak peek into, some alternative forms of investments, which is, what we talk about, cash flow, real estate, and money. And so we're talking about gold, and I know you own some gold. I just got informed on why I should probably own some gold. And do you own silver too, Dave?
I own some gold and silver, some bullion, some actually physical gold and silver. If you really want to trade this, though, the way to do it would be buy gold mining companies. And the way you actually do that. So here's the thing. Let's go back to our tariffs, RJ. Well, you don't really want to own, you want to own miners and manufacturers of gold that are American. Because look, if these miners are foreign and this tariff plan goes in, that's going to hurt their profits majorly if they're trying to mine gold and these companies are established in other countries and then they're trying to sell to American citizens. Remember the tariff play that would affect that. But what if you bought American manufacturing companies, right? Yeah. We're already seeing a rise. Wall Street's already been, dumping money into American manufacturing. in thinking that Trump was going to get elected. So American manufacturing of this particular asset is a way to trade this. Even if you don't have, where's gold at today? 2,400 an ounce. If you don't have $2,400 to your name, you can buy gold stocks and gold mining stocks is a way you could trade this and make money.
Gotcha. So now I know. And if you guys have any, so we got a little bit of comments here in our in the IG, one saying they're all agreeing with you. 100% is real. What's up, Paul? That's the play. And we don't talk a lot about it because this is a heavily real estate and investing, but it's also good to get this side of it because this is also affecting what's going on in the real estate market as well. It's all intertwined. But now we're going to get into like the real estate part of this presentation. But go ahead, Dave. I just want to point that out.
Yep, let us know. I mean, hey, we're not experts. We just pay attention enough to kind of be dangerous. We're the same as you are. We're in this thing together, everybody. And I love these conversations. You hang out with me and RJ. This is what we're talking about around the coffee table. This is just interesting stuff. I enjoy it. And like I said, there's much smarter people out there who can pick this apart and they'll probably, oh, you can't do this. And what about that? I don't know. Hey, I'm just sharing my perspective on how I see things, right? So let's talk about today. Let's talk about real estate. First off, right now the Fed is cutting rates. My question to you is this. Why are we seeing, and this is today, this is right now, and I just did a video about this on our, YouTube channel for yesterday, but why are we seeing mortgage rates increase while the Fed is cutting rates? The reason is we've been getting a lot of good economic data. We've been getting a lot of good jobs reports. We've been getting up until September. But what's crazy, man? And this is real. And I'm not taking a partisan view here on the, left versus the right and all this stuff. Under the Biden administration, they basically reported 818,000 new jobs, and it looked great on paper, but then they went back and revised, and actually that was not real. Like, it was so weird how they do this. They report, but then they go back and make revisions to economic data. So all the economic data, and I think kind of leading up to this election, has been positive. Up until September, I mean, things look good. And since things look good on paper, the Fed is not going to lower mortgage rates because why do they need to? I mean, it's good economic data. People have jobs, this and that. But I think it's been all bullshit, actually. And I think we're going to see more and more revisions. The revisions are already coming in. I think the underlying data is actually much worse. I think the economy is actually in bad shape, but they haven't been reporting it because we have an election and they don't want to air out the dirty laundry. So listen, the October economic data came out bad. It's bad. Yeah. There's only been 12,000 new jobs reported. So get ready. I think Trump's walking into an absolute shitstorm of an economy. And he'll be blamed for it, which is just politics, right? And
gotta have a scapegoat.
You know what it is? We got this big pile of dirty laundry, and I feel like the Biden administration, which bipartisan, if it was Republicans in office, they'd be doing the same damn thing, and this is how it works. But they got this big old pile of dirty laundry, RJ, and they just been hitting it with Febreze. So every time we walk past it, doesn't smell that bad.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? At some point, we got to pay the piper and actually realize, wait a second, this basket is growing mold at this point. There's only so much Febreze can do. This thing's got mildew on it at this point. We got to do something. So I think and it's already started. October economic came out bad, but this was just a few days prior to the election. And there's no more covering it up. There's no more covering up the bad smell. So expect rate cuts. Expect rate cuts here in the coming months. And this is just because of the economic data. It has nothing to do with Trump. And this is what I think is interesting. And I don't know anyone else talking about this, RJ, but expect new financing programs. What is the most common financing program here in the US, RJ? When you sell a house to a retail buyer, what kind of loan do they use? What are the
Well,
terms?
they're using FHA, right? First time home buyer assistant loans, right? And there's going to be probably some programs around that. Is that what you mean by new financing programs from the housing
Well,
perspective?
what I mean is they're all using, if it's FHA or, conventional, they're all 30-year mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially look for stretched out mortgages, 40-year mortgages, 50-year mortgages, because that would allow new buyers to qualify for a higher dollar amount.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you're buying a $400,000 house right now, not everybody can afford that. But if I was giving you a 40-year mortgage, that's going to lower your payment. So you can pay the same price for the house, but when you stretch out the loan even longer, it lowers your payment. 40-year, 50-year mortgages, potential. This is potential. And I don't think it's that unrealistic, everybody, because the UK, Japan, they're already doing 40-year mortgages. This isn't new. So look for that. And that's bullish real estate. And maybe they do something along the line. You know what they should do, RJ? If I was running for president, this is what I'd do, man. I would be taking care of our vets. I'd be taking care of our people who served our country. And they already do with VA mortgages. They give you a break on the interest rate. They should also give our veterans a break on longer terms. They should give not only
Yeah.
it's almost to hook them up, and they should give them a break on their income taxes. Right? If you served our country or are currently serving our country, we should reward them at the highest level. Right? But expect potentially in the coming years new financing programs to be rolled out. And what's funny, we're talking about financing programs. What does this all lead back to? It's all the Fed. This is the Fed, man. It's all loans. Everything's debt. But and the next thing he's running on, which we really didn't talk about, is the whole immigration thing. um, we don't use illegal immigrants to work on our properties. I think it's risky. I
It
think
is
it,
risky.
yeah, I mean, we're not advocates of that. We are very much advocates of hiring US citizens. That's how we've always been. We're proud Americans. We bleed red and red, white, and blue. And I got a flag on me, and we're patriots. We love our country, regardless of who gets elected. And we may see some economic changes with the when there if there is, and I think there will be a mass deportation of illegal aliens. And that's what he ran on. That is his plan. I think we're going to see a large deportation. I don't think they're going to need to even do anything. I think if you're in this country illegally and Trump just won the election, I think you're packing your bags on your own accord. I think you're going to get the hell out of here. Why would you want to risk getting caught? And then,
Yeah.
I think you're going to see, but that should maybe potentially loosen up some housing, right? Because right now, if you're competing with an illegal immigrant for the same house or apartment, I think potentially that could loosen up housing a little bit. So and maybe even control housing costs. Prices are on the rise. I don't know. I mean, we were talking about economic data and how the jobs data came in bad for October. I mean, we're still at that very low inventory place in the market. So prices are very stable for real estate, especially in the affordable housing markets that we're bullish on. And so potentially something else with Trump when it comes to this deportation of illegal immigrants, that potentially could actually loosen up housing a little bit.
Yeah, I want to touch on, this. So we just showed you a presentation of the gold standard and, what happened back then and where gold is right now. And there's a play to own gold and what they call them, commodities. Is that what it is?
Commodity gold
Um,
is a commodity. It's like physical,
right?
tangible things, and real estate is a commodity. Essentially, it's tangible, it's physical, and inflation
Right.
helps everything physical. It's
And so really the play here is, and our message here is to continue to go about marketing the motivated sellers, go about either flipping the ones that don't make sense. We're still it's business as usual, like it was 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 12 years ago. You know, whenever this thing comes up, it's always business as usual. There's always going to be somebody that's motivated. I think there's, you know, there's new things out there where people are figuring out short sales again. Good kudos to them and all this stuff. All it's like marketed the same way, but if you dissect it, it's all the same stuff. Go after motivated sellers, make deals work, know the creative side of it, right? And we show you how to do all of that because we've been doing it for so many years. You know, how can you make boatloads of money now? Is to continue going after motivated sellers that are off market. Continue building those networks. Get into a network if you're not. Get into ours if you're looking for something. But you just got to stay ahead of what they're going to try and pass because there's always a workaround. That's what we've seen. There's always a workaround. We're still going to be going after residential. We're still going to be going after small multifamily. That's it for right now. That's the play for us. Acquiring it with private money, using our strategy where you pay yourself first. That's the PYF method, and then go refinance with banks and try to make it work with where the rates are at. It just forces you to get better deals up front. And the ones that aren't going to be good keepers, you sell because you know what's still in demand? Housing that's affordable. People still need homes. People are still moving. People still relocate. It's still a thing. It's just business as usual here. You want the strategies with that? Hit us up. You know, we've got a ton of training not only here on the live streams on our YouTube channel, but we have in-depth training where we meet with our students 3 times a week. But if you guys are looking to, you know, it's November, we've got a couple more months here until the end of the year, and you're looking to really make a run into this, you know, getting a couple rental properties, or if it's to your next deal or your first deal, hit us up. We've been doing this. We've seen all of the changes and the ebbs and flows in the real estate market. I mean, back in 05 when you were in the game, you saw it.
And that all goes back to financing. It all goes back to the loan programs. Everything is controlled by this loans and debt, and it's just crazy. You become so objective when you understand that there is a loan attached to absolutely everything. The whiteboard in front of me, there was financing used to buy the materials to create it. And then Staples, wherever we got this thing from, probably used financing to acquire massive pallets of these things.
Right.
And then maybe when I bought it from Staples, I used a credit card, so I just financed it again. It's just insane. Everything's debt. So you understand that money is not even real, and you could become objective. But here's a fact for you, everybody. RJ's talking about learn to work with motivated sellers. Guess what? I don't care if you're in the car business. I don't care if you're in the house business. I don't care if you're in the stock trading. I don't care if you're in the lemonade business. I don't care if you're in the whiteboard business. No one ever got rich paying too much for anything.
Mm-hmm.
What's RJ telling you? Learn to work with motivated sellers. Why? So you can buy right. You can buy right. It doesn't matter what the interest rates are. That's why when we see people online saying, oh, I'm waiting for the rates to come down and I'm going to come and make a big splash. Do you care what the interest rate? The interest rate doesn't matter if you know how to buy things at 50 cents on the dollar. This is like, please, I should tattoo that on me. This is like the ultimate phrase. Understand this, everybody. If you're focused on the interest rate, yes, that affects your exit strategy a little bit. So what if you bought it at 50 cents on the dollar? Sell it at 65 cents on the dollar, right? If you are strictly relying on people to buy your product at max retail, yeah, interest rates are going to matter. But if you know how to buy right, there's always a buyer for a good deal. So you got to get a better deal. This is so obvious. This is just like, so anyway, I'm here to let you all know. Be aware of anyone who's like, oh, I'm going to make my splash in 2025 because Trump's now the president. What? It doesn't matter, guys. We'll learn to work with motivated sellers like RJ saying. If Kamala would have got, I almost said hired, It basically is hired by the American people. If she would have got elected, guess what we're doing? Working with motivated sellers and buying great deals. And it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
If you know what to do, focus your energy to finding great deals. That's it. Raising money. Use our PYF, that's pay yourself first method, and learn how to get paid to buy deals at 50 cents on the dollar. You pay yourself up front. Then if you fix this property up and rent it, you make money every single month. Finance it correctly to make a positive cash flow or sell the property for more profit. We're getting paid every step of these transactions. And it doesn't matter if it's Kamala, Trump, or Jim Filicetti, who's president. It doesn't matter. We're going to be buying right. Learn to buy right. Learn to buy right. Focus on what you can control, which is the price you pay for any asset. You can't control the interest rates. It's out of your hand. Can't control the president. Basically, I mean, it's out of your, you can vote and that's it, right? Learn to buy right. This is the best use of your time here, everybody. And we're going to teach you how to do it. This is what we do. Learn how to get these motivated sellers calling you. Learn how to talk to them. You don't need to be a silver-tongued salesperson to buy houses at deep discounts. You just got to know how to navigate your conversation, right? Navigate these conversations, put these properties in contract, and then sell these properties for profits or finance these properties in such a way where you can create a positive cash flow. What else is there, RJ? What else? I mean,
well said. I mean, if you guys got any questions, you want to hop in on this conversation, hop on in. Chat's open, chat's free. Got a couple more minutes here till we got to go about our day. But this is how you make boatloads of money. It doesn't matter who's in the office. It doesn't matter who's, going to be president. Doesn't matter their race. Doesn't matter their gender. This is it. Doesn't. I think we're in a solid, like lane, the shelter lane. Everyone needs shelter. That's not going away.
Need it to survive, don't you? You need food, you need clothing, and you need a roof over your head. We're in the business of buying roofs to put over people's heads, right? I'll tell you one thing. Let's get into some politics here for a minute while we wait for any money questions or any questions whatsoever. We're an open book, and we're happy to help. I'm kind of excited for RFK, man. I like that guy. Have you been following RFK at all, Bobby Kennedy?
I like what he has his thoughts on the whole health.
I like him too for that reason, and I like that he's jacked. I like that he's in his 70s and he's absolutely jacked. That's a role model for me. That's what I want to be, RJ.
Yeah, that's who somebody like I want to be behind. Like, okay, yes, really into health and he's jacked and he's.
I love that. That's what I want to be. That's a role model to me. Yeah, he's online. He's just doing pull-ups, and I'm like, okay, that's my guy. That's my guy. Ripped chest, beautiful wife, loyal man. He's sober. He's dealt with drugs and alcohol a little bit, cleaned up his life. His father was John F. Kennedy, or his father was his uncle was John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated, and his father was Robert Kennedy Sr., who was also killed. I mean, this guy, man, I think there's something special about this guy. So I'm happy that he's kind of teamed up with Trump, and I'm more excited for that. Did you know, RJ, that the United States is only one of 2 countries in the whole world where it's legal for these pharma companies to just be promoting drugs on every other commercial on our TV? What is this? Why are we so? If we're the most advanced civilization, United States, why are we so unhealthy and so dumb? Why is our intellect? Why are we like number 60 when it comes to health and number like 40 when it comes to like school test scores? We're a bunch of fat, dumb dummies.
I could reply to that, but it's going to be a whole different type of podcast or live stream. Because I got my theories, but
let's get ourselves up a little bit. Let's raise our vibration, please. Can we at least be in the top 10 for like schools? I mean, what are we talking about right now? Okay, we have amazing innovation in this country. We have so many things that have been invented, so much technology, but we can't get our test scores in the top 30. I mean, we got people, Sweden, Denmark, and they're wiping the floor with us. They're way smarter. Japan, are you kidding me? right? No, we need to get smarter
And
and we need
healthier.
to get healthier. And hey, hopefully we can see some positive change, you know? And if that comes from a Democrat or a Republican or an independent, it don't matter to me. I want us to be, as people, to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. If
Yeah.
I can get that, then
Here,
I'm
here.
happy. Here.
Same
That's it.
here. Guys, if you are just watching this now, we had a really good presentation about a little bit about the commodities, gold, then we went into some real estate things that does that's very relevant to what's going on. The fact of the matter is, our stance is to continue doing what you're doing. If you are already going after motivated sellers, if you are already building a rental portfolio, if you are already, flipping properties, keep doing that.
Absolutely.
Residential, affordable markets. If you're in multifamily, stay in, the affordable workforce housing. It's here. It's going to stay. It's not going anywhere. And if you need help, we're here to help. If you're looking for any resource, we're here to help. You can text me. My number is right there. Follow me on IG. Follow Dave on IG. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a lot of free resources there. And we're here as a source, and we're going to give it to you straight, unedited things that's how we are. You already know that by now, but I appreciate you hopping on. If there's no other questions, let's make it a great day.
Everybody, what's the moral of the story? Keep your head out of the weeds. There's so much drama. I love and follow us on X. We got an X profile, everybody, Cream Real Estate Investors. And you know what? When I see the drama, people fighting over woke and this and that, scroll right past it, baby. The only thing we care about is the economy, is money, and like stay informed, but stay informed on the right things. Avoid these fights. It's such a waste of your time. Avoid it all and focus on your own economy. We're going to help you do that. Buy right, create cash flow, learn to finance. There's endless and unlimited money. We live in the United States of America, everybody, and this is red or blue. Don't matter. There's plenty of loans out there to buy assets that produce cash flow. That's it. I mean, this isn't rocket science, and I know you have the work ethic. I know you have what it takes. If you're willing to be coachable, we're willing to help you. I mean, we've already done it. It's not hard. You just need the right strategy and you need the right coach. So check out our site, which is creamlaunch.com. And from there, you'll have access to our Calendly link. And we're happy to hop on a call with you. You talk to somebody on our team, Michael or somebody else, and just kind of see what we got. There's no obligation to set up a call, see what we're about, share a little bit more about your story, what you're looking to do, and maybe we're a good fit. We'd love the opportunity to help you if we can. And, the philosophy we take into coaching clients is, RJ says it best. It's like, look, it helps us. It helps our coaching business for a minute, right? Hey, we got a new client. Helps you for a lifetime, man. We're approaching this thing to help you for a lifetime, really understand the real estate market, understand money, take immediate action. Our clients are getting paid. Our coaching students are getting paid in sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's quick. It doesn't have to be this. Yeah, so that's what we got. RJ, bring us home, my friend.
All right, y'all. Make it a great day. Thank you for listening, watching. Follow us on our socials. Reach out to us if you need help, and we'll see you in the next stream.